Uh,
Well, thank you so much, Tara. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to me.
of course, absolutely.
So, you and I met through our children because
Yes.
later in summer, cheer together. I think that's how we met, was through cheerleading.
I think it was more prior at Montessori, and then they ended up
Oh, that's
cheering
right.
together.
That's
But
right.
I would meet your mom more because I would be dropping the kids off, and your mom would be dropping them off.
That's so true. So I'm always, I would say prior to the whole COVID experience, I would meet and interact with so many people. And I work in a very male dominated industry, and I don't find myself meeting a lot of, working moms that are in my industry. And so whenever I meet working moms like yourself, I'm always so impressed, especially ones that have 3 children like yourself. To me, it's just, and there's something amazing about someone being able to juggle having a full-time job, you traveling and managing a household and children and all the other stuff that comes with like mommy and wife and all of that. So I
Yes.
know that you're an event planner and you travel a lot. And I was wondering if you can kind of give me a synopsis of your career story.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I went to University of Massachusetts, and my degree is in hotel, restaurant, and travel management. So I've always been in the hospitality industry. I've always been in a restaurant as a kind of part-time job, so I always bartend on the side. It gives me some kind of leeway to still socialize outside of family and kids and work. And then my full-time job is as a corporate event planner. I was prior to the company I'm currently at, which is EMC Meetings and Events. It's a third-party meeting management company. So I've been there about 5 years, and prior to that, I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers for 10 years in their corporate meeting department.
That's awesome.
So
And you
yeah,
travel all over the country for
I
your
do,
events.
I do. Uh, Yeah, so with the company that I'm with now, we have several clients that are key clients. I'm an account director over one of those clients, but I do have my hands in different clients and their events. So basically, we source the programs, plan the programs, and execute them. So I plan anywhere from 10 to 25, depending on the magnitude of the event throughout the year. And then I do go on site and support the event and execute it.
I've planned a couple of events at work and I find them to be so stressful. So I could never imagine planning that many events every year. So I give you a lot of credit for that.
Thanks. Yeah, I like it. I like the pressure. I like the busyness, and I like multitasking. So I like having different priorities to kind of do all at the same time. So I could have an event going on in Canada. I could have an event going on in Miami. I could have an event going on in New Jersey, California. So all across the country, working with different people, and kind of planning them simultaneously throughout the year. Because depending on the volume or the magnitude of the event, I might have to be working on them all simultaneously.
Wow. So what's the perfect recipe for a successful event in your eyes?
I would say, I mean, my gratification at the end of a program is really my client coming up to me and saying, that was a flawless event. I don't know one thing that went wrong. Now, there could have been things that did go wrong that I know about on the back end, but for my clients to not know anything happened and for them it to be a seamless event, to me, that's the gratification that I look for at the end of the event.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So you are traveling all over the country, and I think I remember you traveling to Germany, if I'm not mistaken, for an
I
event as well.
I was, yes. Actually, prior to all this COVID, I was in Germany the last week in February. So that was my last trip until we kind of got grounded right now. So it's been interesting not traveling. I generally travel at least a minimum of once a month. So to be at home in one building for what is it, 2.5 months now is definitely not normal for me. I
So
like change. I like different things.
how do you manage your time? Just with the traveling and with the kids and also with your work schedule, like how do you balance all of that? What are your best practices for time management?
I have one, an amazing support system, and two, I'm very organized. I've been in this industry prior to even dating my husband. So he's known nothing other than me always traveling. So that kind of helps just going into relationship, is him knowing that I'm not always going to be around or that I need a support system. So he's definitely another mom in that aspect. He cooks, he cleans, he does the baths, he makes dinners, he does the kids' schoolwork. So just what I would do when I'm home, he can execute that as well. And then I do have family that's always been super supportive. And then I rely on other moms too to help me. When I'm traveling, I really lay out like a blueprint, basically, of what's going on every day, who's picking up what kid, dropping off at what sport, what assignments are gone, what activities they have to get them to. My husband being a police officer, he has shift work. So sometimes, for example, right now he's on 7 nights in a row. So during that kind of time, you really have to lay out a blueprint of what's going to go on every day. So it's definitely organization to be able to manage all that.
That's amazing. I find that organization is sometimes difficult for me, even though I am very organized. I find that lately, with being home, you would think I would be able to be more organized with my schedule, but having children and work, everything in the same place, the gym, the kitchen, my office, everything in one place. It's definitely been more work to stay organized versus prior to this whole COVID experience, where having the extra help and having children in school and activities was definitely helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I'm less organized right now at home because it's really, I have to fly by the seat of my pants. I mean, we have 3 kids that I'm homeschooling right now, and I'm working full time, and my husband's on nights. And so I might have my day planned out, but it's definitely not going to happen that way because one kid might need help with something on work and I have to have a pop-up call that might come in. And so it's a little less organized right now than I would normally like it. But I think we're all kind of rolling with the punches right now and taking it day by day and minute by minute.
So if I was planning an event right now for the future, let's say post COVID, whatever the world will look like at that point, what is a tip that you could give me in planning a seamless event?
Well, I would say prior to COVID, there's going to be a lot that changes in the event industry going forward. Just really with how food is served, how people are traveling, the space that's required now to have events. So that's all kind of a lot of stuff that we're researching as event planners right now and what that looks like in the hospitality industry. Prior to this all, really in executing a seamless event is really knowing your clientele, knowing what location to have the event in, knowing what the budget is going to be like, knowing what the weather is going to be like, how to really achieve something that's a wow factor. So whether it's entertainment or location or activities, making sure you're thinking about all of those different areas that come into play when having an event, because you might pick a location, but maybe you're picking an event in January in Chicago, and so now you have a weather factor. Is it going to be, are you going to the hotel be snowed in, or are flights not going to get there, or your attendees can't get there? So you really have to kind of think about all the different areas that can come into play when you're picking a location and budget and kind of contingency plans.
Do you think that these virtual events that people are planning, incorporating social media, will be as successful as some of the in-person events that are going on, that have, I should say, that have gone on in the past?
I mean, I'm dealing with that right now. So a lot of our events have either postponed or they're going virtual and rescheduling for next year. I don't think there's anything that can replace a in-person event. You just don't have the same networking opportunities. And I think right now what's going to happen is after all of this kind of settles down a little bit, it's always going to be a contingency. So we're even talking about events that we have that are later in the fall in November. They're still going to happen right now, but there's also going to be a virtual aspect of it, because I think going forward, it was almost like the industry stopped. Everybody had all these live events and now there's no live events, and everybody's really kind of racing to see how to get a live event put together. I had 1,000-person meeting in Miami for June, the first week in June that was supposed to happen. That's now going to be an e-event. We're calling it. And so we have 2 months to kind of figure this out, put it together, figure out how to get all the speakers from. It was a global sales kickoff. So I think going forward, there's always going to be now a virtual aspect of it as a backup plan or in conjunction with. I think that's just going to be the new norm, but I don't think it's going to ever replace e-events. I think it's what we all have to do right now, but I don't think it's going to be 100% how it goes going forward.
What are you most looking forward to when the COVID experience that we're currently living in is over at an event? What is the one thing that you most look forward to?
Uh, I would say a hotel room by myself. um, Warm weather. A lot of times when I do these events, they're in nice areas, nice
Yeah.
locations, beautiful weather. So all of that, eating nicer meals, not thinking about what I need to eat, not going to the grocery store to prep it. So those are kind of the niceties that go along with my job, is just being able to experience new stuff day in and day out when it's a new location. I miss that. I miss
Yeah,
that.
definitely. Definitely having that person to person, even just the overall dining experience of going to a restaurant. I definitely
Hmm.
miss that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
hope some of our favorites, especially some in town, are still there when this is all over.
Oh, me too. Me too. I have seen some opening up, which has been nice. My kids are excited that sushi's back open and Chinese food, and tired of pizza.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tara. This has been amazing. You have awesome insight.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you for having me.